This week on the Island Times News Update, Surfer Magazine runs into a snag on a new Jacksonville beach night spot. Neptune Beach may eliminate a looming deadline from its sign ordinance, and many beaches' elected officials endorse Andrew Crenshaw for Congress. Welcome to the Island Times News Update. I'm Tom Patton. The Jacksonville Beach City Council Monday night came to an impasse over whether to approve a rezoning for the location currently occupied by Mango's Bar for a concept establishment backed by Surfer Magazine. The establishment would be substantially larger than Mango's and include some 3,000 square feet of retail space, which the applicant said allows the project to qualify as a shopping center. That substantially changes the parking space requirement for the project. The applicants also requested that the council approve 400% more outdoor serving space than is allowed by the current ordinance, and for a permanent parking spot for a food truck. While the entire council seemed to be in favor of something to improve the corner, Mayor Charlie Latham said he could not support the redevelopment district as it was currently written. Council members Janelle Wilson and Steve Harketmeyer were also opposed to the project. Council members Chris Hoffman and Phil Vogelsang supported the rezoning, and Councilman Keith Doherty said he would recuse himself because of a very obvious conflict. Doherty owns Lynch's Irish Pub, which is within 500 feet of the proposed establishment and could be a trigger for disallowing the project. After a protracted debate, the council tabled the proposal until the August 18th meeting, as Councilman Tom Taylor was unable to attend the meeting due to a personal matter. The delay will also give the applicant time to make adjustments in the proposal. Neptune Beach will consider stripping the deadline from its sign ordinance at its August meeting. Under the ordinance passed 10 years ago, businesses with non-compliant signs would have to have them replaced by September 1st. Many of those signs could stand for several more years, and Commissioner Scott Wiley said it would place an unreasonable financial burden on small businesses to require them to tear down a sign and replace it with a smaller one. Councilor John Jolly said that there is a question of fairness and that it would not be right to allow businesses that have waited until the deadline has arrived to not be required to change their signs. But Wiley countered that with only one or two exceptions, the businesses that have changed their signs to compliant monument signs have done so not because there was a looming deadline, but because there was some other condition that required a change. He said that the current ordinance won't work for some businesses.
As far as I think the whole thing for the sign, for the monument signs, even the ordinance that we have might need to be looked at because we're at 8 foot high and I think it's 96 or 94 square foot. That's not going to work with some of these businesses out here. Even if they're damaged or not, they're not going to be able to comply with that because it's not going to make sense and it's not going to look good.
Mayor Harriet Pruitt, who was on the council when the existing sign ordinance was passed, said she was willing to compromise on the issue.
And I've always felt that one size does not fit all, especially when you have small lots and some things that are brought up. And I can compromise.
The council has to take action before September 1st. That's when an extension it passed earlier this year expires. They also have the option of extending the deadline another 180 days while they work on the ordinance. The issue will be on the agenda at the August 4th meeting. The Neptune Beach City Council Monday night pulled a proposed change to its traffic code that would have banned powered paragliders from operating on the beach in Neptune Beach. The change had been proposed by Councilman Scott Wiley, who had been approached by some residents living on or near the beach who had concerns about noise and safety issues with the aircraft. But after meeting with powered paraglider pilots and residents, Wiley Monday night asked that the proposed ordinance be pulled from the agenda. Members of the council met with a group of powered paraglider pilots as well as residents with concerns about the aircraft and came to a compromise. The powered paraglider pilots said they would adopt voluntary guidelines for flying on the beach to reduce the noise and ease safety concerns. The guidelines have been posted on several websites for powered paraglider pilots and distributed through social media. If those voluntary self-regulating guidelines don't work, the ordinance can be brought back before the council. Well, many of the elected officials from the beach's communities publicly endorsed Andrew Crenshaw in his bid to be re-elected to the U.S. Congress at an event held at Catherine Way Collections in Jacksonville Beach. Crenshaw said he was honored to have the endorsement of so many of the elected officials at the beach.
The fact that you would not just vote for me, but actually publicly say, we think our constituents ought to vote for you, because what you do when you endorse me is you put your reputation on the line to say, we're publicly endorsing somebody, we're recommending somebody, and I know when I do that, I take that pretty seriously, because I want to make sure the person I'm recommending is the kind of person that I believe in and trust and believe is going to work hard. And so when you do that, it's hard to really find the right words to say thank you.
State Representative Janet Adkins said that the current anti-incumbency movement can have serious consequences.
Listen, I know a lot of people want to think that, well, we should just, throw all the bums out. The reality is when you do that, you are giving more power to the bureaucrats. Make no mistake about it, there are no term limits for the bureaucrats. And so you've got to be able to get up there and to make the relationships and begin working and collaborating, working across the aisle, quite frankly.
Crenshaw's primary opponent is Ryman Shove, who's seeking his first elective office. When we come back, Hopkins Creek Docks and the first Wavemaker Award. This is the Island Times News Update.
Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning in Atlantic Beach offers a full range of residential and commercial heating and air conditioning services, from new installation to replacement and remodeling. Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning can keep your home comfortable year-round, and they offer preventive maintenance contracts to keep your system running at peak efficiency. Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning is an authorized Bryant dealer and will service all brands. For year-round comfort in your home or business, contact the original Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning at 241-1788. Beaches Academy Child Care Center in Jacksonville Beach has been offering affordable, loving child care to families in the Beaches communities for 35 years. Conveniently located on Penman Road, Beaches Academy offers care for children from infants through preschool, with programs that encourage learning and outdoor play. Our affordable tuition means families can get quality child care at a price that fits their budget. Contact Beaches Academy at 246-3885 and schedule a tour of our center. Beaches Academy, the child always comes first.
Welcome back to the Island Times News Update. I'm Tom Patton. A proposed amendment to the Neptune Beach Land Use Ordinance would allow docks to be built 5 feet wide with a 200-square-foot terminal platform. Currently, docks are limited to 4 feet in width with that 200-square-foot platform, and the Neptune Beach Code is more strict than the state of Florida, which allows docks in most areas to be 5 feet wide. Councilman John Jolly, who lives on Hopkins Creek and who does not have a dock, is strongly opposed to the changes. Jolly said he'd be willing to consider a compromise that included the wider walkways, but restricted the end platforms to 160 square feet. The issue came to light when a homeowner on Hopkins Creek wanted to rebuild his dock and make it 5 feet wide. The state DEP granted the homeowner a permit, but Neptune Beach denied the application for a 5-foot wide dock. Mayor Harriet Pruitt said that, quote, if we continue to ignore our boards, there's no reason to have them. She said no one was complaining about the docks until one person was denied a permit. Councilor Scott Wiley proposed the amendment. He said that it was unlikely that if the code were changed, there would be a great rush to rebuild docks to 5 feet wide. Wiley said after the meeting that the change was not because of one person, but would simply bring the city into line with the state guidelines. The council agreed to send the amended ordinance to the Planning Commission, and it will then go before the council for its first vote. The Atlantic Beach City Council will hold a final workshop on its human rights ordinance on Monday night. The HRO passed on first read earlier this month and will be back on the voting agenda on August 11th. If it passes on the 11th, it will become law. The public will have one final opportunity to comment on the ordinance at the August 11th meeting. Local businessman Curtis Loftus was honored at the Jacksonville Beach City Council meeting Monday night when he was presented with the city's first Wavemaker Award for his civic activities. Loftus is the owner of the Curtis Group, a boutique advertising agency located in Jacksonville Beach, and he's been involved in numerous civic and charitable activities, including the effort to keep the St. Johns River Ferry. Last winter, he created the concept and founded the successful Deck the Chairs Beaches Winter Lights Festival, which benefits the American Red Cross Volunteer Life-Saving Corps and started a new beaches holiday tradition. The proclamation said that the mayor and city council of Jacksonville Beach would like to recognize Curtis Loftus as an outstanding leader in the community and present him with the City of Jacksonville Beach Wavemaker Award. And speaking of Curtis, he'll be signing copies of his children's book, Stephen and the Seagull, at the Bookmark in Neptune Beach, July 31st at 7 p.m. Copies of the book will be available at the signing. The Beaches Division of the Jax Chamber hosted a ribbon cutting, officially opening the Victory II Casino cruise ship on Tuesday afternoon. The ship has taken out a 10-year lease on the property where it docks, and it sails twice daily from Mayport. And the third annual Ferry Fest will be held in Mayport August 2nd. The festival this year is being called a celebration for the service and a way to say thanks to all the volunteers and people who ride the ferry. There will be music all day, food trucks, and artists. This year's festival will be on the waterfront on the Port Authority property in Mayport Village. Well, the tropics are quiet, and the National Weather Service says the weather for the next few days will be sunny with a daily chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Look for highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. The Island Times is always digital, always free at www.theislandtimes.com. Become a subscriber and get updates on news from the beaches communities delivered right to your email box. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. I'm Tom Patton. Thanks for watching.